Usual disclaimer, but that does say on there that we've got our guidance this year of 345,000 ounces at $1,425 an ounce all in, and we're very comfortable with that as we sit here today. Just want to take you through our quarter just completed. It was better than we expected. We produced nearly 82,000 ounces at $1,383, and we sold 87 at $1,846. But the key thing is that of our three plants, we had our sulfide plant, the main plant, off for 35 days while we essentially did open heart surgery on the plant and fixed the roaster once and for all. If you look at our last 4 quarters, you can see steady improvement, and we expect that steady improvement now over the next couple of years. The important point is the bottom there, where we produced 30,000 ounces out of our sulfide circuit, given it was off for a third of the quarter. So we're very excited about that. And a lot of that came from the clean out of the roaster itself and a lot of the tanks, etc. So we completely cleaned out the whole circuit, freed up metal that's possibly been in there for a couple of years or even decades. So yes, we're in West Africa. We have at Syama, this is our flagship operation. Syama, as you well know, we've got 85 kilometers of strike there. We've got over 8 million ounces, nearly 9 million ounces in resources. Over 7 of that is in M&I, and we've got about 3.4 at ore reserves at this stage. The sulfide plant, if you look at last year, that sulfide is the underground sub-level cave that's been operating now for 4 years, and it's just getting up right now to design, which is about 150,000 ounces. However, I can tell you the Achilles heel on that has always been the plant that was built in the 90s by BHP originally, and it's just recently, as I say, we've actually given that a complete overhaul. In fact, last year with the 135,000 ounces, that was based on 85% availability of plant. And since we've actually fixed that plant, we've been running in the high 90s, given that we had to do some bolt tightening over April. And the key thing is that while that plant was a nominally 2.4 million tons per annum, we've predicted that we were going to do 145 this year, based on now the capacity at 2.4 million tons per annum. So it's a significant step up. We've just completed April, and we did manage to get 200,000 tons through that plant quite comfortably. Oxide circuit, we had a few problems last year, lack of flexibility, plant capacity 1.5 million tons. But I can tell you, as of 3 weeks ago, it's the first time we've been operating 3 open pits at any one time. And that's given us the flexibility to take us through the rainy season that caught us out quite badly last year. Then our other project is next door in Senegal, the Mako operation. That's got 4 years life of mine. Plant capacity now is at 2.1 million tons an hour. It is anomaly 1.8. We've squeezed it up now using a mill slicer on the SAG mill to improve the throughput on that operation. That is operating really well, and we expect to do 2.1 through that operation this year. And we're planning, we've got 125,000 up on the scoreboard there. On both Syama and on Mako, we're slightly ahead of the game as we speak today, after 4 months operation. So if you look at the highlights for the year, safety, we've got a pretty good safety record, especially given that we did that maintenance on the plant. We had 64,000 man hours, 90% local contractors working up there, up to 8 floors above. So we're really pleased with what the safety record looks like now. Our Q1 production, we mentioned, it's 2% step up from the last quarter last year. All-in costs a little bit lower than we expected because we squeezed out a lot more metal. And this was going to be our tough quarter. We were expecting over 1,400. We managed to keep it below that. And I would suggest to you that given where the plants are and the mines, we think we're going to be able to squeeze more units out of this operation over this year. Another important thing on net debt, we have about 100 million on the cash and bullion. We've flattened about 54 million over this quarter. We've got a net debt position of about 175 at this point in time. As part of the debt covenants, we have a hedge book. We hedge typically about 30% of our production over the next 18 months, and that's set at 1845 at the moment. And I've just recently taken over from Stuart. I was the chief operator in the operation for the last year, and Stuart's moved on as of last weekend, and I've taken over as the CEO, and I will be based in London, where I have been operating from the last year. So that's a significant change for this company. Very quickly, if we look at exploration, we're very excited around Syama. It's 85 kilometers of strike we've got. We've gone back in to look at all the original open pits north of the operation within 4 kilometers, and we're starting to recognize relatively high-grade sulfides there, which can complement the underground. Strip ratio is 4 to 6 to 1, something like that, over 2 grams a ton. So we expect to be announcing something this next quarter and treating it by about the third quarter this year. And that will help us as we ramp up the underground as well. In Senegal, it's been very quiet the last couple of years, been very difficult to operate in the community for obvious reasons, but we've got 4 major targets now around Mako. I did mention that it's got 4 years of operation left. However, we believe we can turn one of these 4 plays that we've got into ore reserves over the next couple of years. So as I mentioned, looking at cash flow, I think the key one there is the assets that we sold. We sold the Bibiani project. It's been on our books for quite a long time. We let that one go. And there's another small asset we let go to bring down our debt position quite significantly. And we maintained about 100 million in terms of cash and bullion. So what's our focus? Obviously, safety, production, costs. And I think the key to us, we know headwinds coming on cost. We haven't seen it yet in Q1. We expect to start seeing it in Q2. However, our answer to that is squeezing more units out of the operation on both sides. Both of our plants, the mills are only running at about 80% of capacity. We've fixed everything else around them now. So the key is getting more material through the mills. Obviously, strengthen that balance sheet, bring that debt down. And then the key area is the exploration, as I've mentioned. And we are signatories to the World Golf Council. We're working under the responsible gold mining principles. We've been audited. We're about 70% there, and we're actually going to make significant progress over the next couple of years. So as I mentioned, our guidance, we are still comfortable with those numbers, 345 at 1425. We think the Syama sulfide's got a bit of space in terms of extra capacity now. Oxides will be about flat, and we think Mako is going to put a few more units in because of the mill slicer that we've got on the SAG mill there. And we're back into the mode of spending about 15 million like exploration. We are doing quite a bit of exploration in the region. Obviously, as you heard the previous speaker, it's a very prolific area, and we're looking at several areas around there. Thank you.